Welcome back to the Blue Review. CY, Clinton Yates, Greg Bergman. We are back after a little bit of a time off last week
The
for the
All-Star
All-Star
break. We took an
We were
All-Star
off,
break is what we did.
yeah, because we needed it. It was necessary. We needed a little bit of time to just heal from what was going on. But anyway, the Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport, where changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. And we're getting close to that time, Clinton Yates, where the Dodgers may or may not transform themselves too, where time to start looking at starting pitchings, time to start looking at possibly some infield depth, time to start looking at relief pitchers. There's a couple names out there that I actually really like a Lucas Giolito from the White Sox.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting one, I kind of like, if you're not, I mean, it might cost a little bit too much with Shohei being in play over the summer or over the winter. Nolan Arenado and Jack Flaherty from the Cardinals.
There's a lot of two-person sort of package deals that we've seen come up over the course of this trade deadline. Teams that have like a guy that's pretty good in the field and a guy that's pretty good on the mound, and you'll be able to get them in. I like the Arenado package. My question always, though, is in these particular situations, the realistic options of what the Dodgers would be giving up. It's easy in theory to say two starters and a couple prospects, but who are these players and where are they going to go and what are you going to get back is extremely important to me in this situation. For example, this is why I think the Shohei discussion from a trade standpoint is very difficult. The stuff you'd have to give up from a talent standpoint to get him on a rental, I don't know that it's overtaken by what Ohtani, even as a two-way player, can bring back to your team. So Ohtani's one of these guys that is as much, for lack of a better term, a content creator as he is a baseball player in terms of why the draw of him on your team is important. But if you've got to give up four guys to get him, well, then suddenly you're not the same team anymore, and it doesn't necessarily even matter what comes back. So,
I mean, it depends on who those four guys are, though, right?
Like, well, right. But I'm saying, if the four guys, who would the four guys be in your opinion for the Dodgers?
For the Dodgers, I mean, probably be a guy like James Outman. I would assume somebody along the lines of a Bobby Miller would be in there. Probably a couple guys in the minor leagues too that would have to go. Diego Cartaya. It could be a guy like Michael Busch. It could be all major league ready players. Cartaya is not quite there, and that's probably why he'd be able to move. But all those types of guys, you do it because Ohtani is two guys, and he's going to fix your rotation right away. You don't have to worry too much because now all of a sudden you have one of the best pitchers in baseball going along. That's also one of the best hitters in baseball too. That's going to fix you. That's going to move your going to your DH.
Okay.
Which is also, there's some interesting stuff there too.
Right, but he plays DH. He doesn't play the field anymore. He's a DH, which is effectively what JD Martinez does. What are you going to do with JD? Are you going to put JD on the infield? Are you going to suddenly start playing him in the outfield? Like, there are real questions. And I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm just saying that like a trade for Ohtani is in fact more complicated than just hoping he gets to the free agent market and you can sign him.
Right. Well, I mean, look, so with the JD portion of it, he's played 2 games in left field. I get it that he is a guy that says, I don't even own a glove. Well, guess what, buddy? You're going to have to own a glove at some point. So, like, if that happens, I mean, he probably wouldn't like it and maybe even would want to be moved in that situation. I don't know. But either way, you could figure that portion out. And I'm waiting for the offseason. Fine. I'm okay with waiting for the offseason. It's just there's a couple teams that I would be worried about if he goes there. The Giants, I'd be worried if he went to the Giants. If he went to the Mariners, I'd be worried if he went to the Mariners that he's going to stay there. A team like in the East, the Yankees, the Red Sox would be really interesting. If he goes to the Red Sox, that's a spot that a lot of Asian ball players go and do very, very well. So if he somehow goes there, I'd be worried that you wouldn't get him there because he could very easily stay in those spots.
Don't sleep on a place too, like a team that the Dodgers have coming up as well, kind of a rental situation that's perfect. The Baltimore Orioles could find a way into this discussion on a rental because they've got the best farm system in the league, as evidenced by other young guys that are on the big league roster right now. There are other teams that are not just big market players that are in this little window of a rental that I think could be very interesting. And the Dodgers play the O's coming up next.
Yeah, they do. But when it comes to the O's, though, then you're changing your whole team to get him. You have to give up a decent amount that you're not going to have the same team. The Dodgers can fill in slots wherever they want because of what they have in their minor league system. It's not going to be as good, but they're still going to be a good team based on what they have already. I feel like other teams that you would have to, as a rental, you're blowing up your team.
Perhaps a little bit, but the O's are so young anyway. I think that's the reason why that works, is kind of what I'm getting at. They've got a nice mix of super young guys and veterans. But my point is that there are a lot of different scenarios in which Shohei, like the trade market is a different thing than what could be the free agent market, just in terms of sort of who he wants to be and what kind of a player he would be on that team. Although I do think that if a team trades for him and they make a run, I don't mean a World Series run necessarily, but even get to the World Series or make a long run, they've got an inherent advantage because he's just never done that in a major league ballpark, or rather a major league uniform. So it'll be interesting to see where he heads.
No, absolutely. And this series coming up against the Orioles is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a tough series for the Dodgers. They have a better record than the Dodgers.
Right.
So it's going to be
I'm fairly
fun
certain
series.
they have a better run differential. No, they don't have a better run differential too. But the thing about the Orioles is that
Dodgers score too much.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that, we were asked this question on Around the Horn the other day, which of the surprise teams, do you think still has the longest staying power? And I said the Orioles, but the Orioles aren't technically a big surprise. They were over 500 last year. They've simply improved from what they are, and they know how to win, which is another thing that is sort of, been difficult for the Dodgers to overcome. It's not just teams that aren't necessarily very good, but teams that are just excellent winning teams in terms of game to game. The Orioles are really good at that. Yeah, exactly. So this should be a telling series. Dare I say, World Series preview. That's pretty much just what I like to say with any teams, any interleague matchup in which both teams are in the playoffs. You just throw out World Series preview. It's like saying finals preview whenever the Lakers are from the East Coast. So
it's all very possible. We'll see how they do tonight against the Orioles. And it's Sheehan on the mound for the Dodgers. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See you later.